Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about a readathon going on in August. It is the N.E.W.T.s, which is a Harry Potter themed readathon hosted by Book Roast. So I will leave links to their channel down below. Now, if you know about this readathon, you would know that the first part is the O.W.L.s, which happens previously in the year, and then if you pass your different classes in the O.W.L.s, then you would move on and take your next year tests, your higher levels, which are the N.E.W.T.s. So earlier this year I was out of the country and busy, but I didn't have a chance to do the O.W.L.s, which means that in order for me to do the N.E.W.T.s, I have to do the O.W.L.s. So I'm combining them. So I have 11 books on this TBR for the month for the readathon, because the N.E.W.T.s readathon is the entire month of August. So I am pretty much going to be reading this stack of books for the majority of August, and the other point to note is that they are also all books from Australian authors, because at the same time I'm also doing Aussie August, which is just something I'm trying to do personally, and I'm trying to read books from Australian authors because now I live in Australia and I have only, I think, read 1 or 2 books from an Australian author, mostly from just sheer accident. So I want to try to remedy that. So these books are for the O.W.L.s, the N.E.W.T.s, and Aussie August. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into them. Oh yeah, the last thing I want to mention is, if I haven't already said it, I am a Slytherin. So this is a wand I picked up in Harry Potter World in Japan, and I just thought it's really cute. It's not Slytherin, it's Hermione's, I believe, but yeah. Okay, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So there are 3 books that I need to read for my O.W.L.s, because I need to pass Care of Magical Creatures, Charms, and Herbology. So the first one, O.W.L.s, Care of Magical Creatures, a land animal on the cover. For this, I am going to choose The Natural Way of Things by Charlotte Wood. And if you can see right here, there is a little rabbit. Right here. So this one is a dystopian novel that is following a woman who wakes up and she has had her head shaved and she is chained on this farm in this dystopian Australian outback, I believe. And it explores misogyny and corporate control, and when the women realize that their captors have gone missing, they realize that they are going to have to take matters into their own hands and find a way to escape. So I'm really looking forward to this. So next is Charms, Age Line. Read an adult book. For this, I chose The Choke by Sophie Laguna. So in this one, we are following a young girl named Justine, who is abandoned by her mother and father and is raised by her pop, who I assume is her grandfather, but he is haunted and has PTSD from working on the Burmese Railroad, and she takes solace in what is known as the Choke, which I believe is like a river or creek near her house. And I think that this is really dark, which is why I picked it up. There were 1 million copies in my library, which leads me to believe that it's one that like a lot of people are reading. And it says it's a brilliant, haunting novel about a child navigating the dark and uncaring world of male power and violence. So excited about that one. Next is my O.W.L.s for Herbology. It says a plant on the cover. Now, of course, I could have totally gone with this one as well, but I'm not sure if we're allowed to double up or not. So if not, I'm going to do The Dry by Jane Harper. Now, of course, like this is just grass, but it still counts. Jane Harper, I believe, is one of the most popular Australian writers, probably of all time. So we are in a farming community where it has not rained for over 2 years, and a family is shot to death on their property. A detective goes to see what happens. It's a small town, so no one is really talking, and the crime thriller ensues. I've heard like Jane Harper is kind of like the Gillian Flynn of Australia, so I'm keen to read my first Jane Harper. Okay, so these are the first ones I'll be reading because they are for O.W.L.s, and then after that I'm going to be moving into the N.E.W.T.s. So I didn't tell you guys, but I want to be a magizoologist. That's the job that I want, because Book Roast just has like an amazing set of like jobs and lists and everything. And the two that I wanted to be was either a magizoologist or like the one that protects against evil forces. But most of the books I had aligned with magizoologist. And also I just really think that the magical creatures of the Harry Potter world are amazing. So I need an outstanding in care of magical creatures, and I need an exceeds expectations in both charms and herbology. So let's get into it. All right, so for care of magical creatures, I need to pass acceptable, exceeds expectations, and outstanding. So, okay, for acceptable, I need to read a book starting with the letter A. And for this, I'm choosing The Arsonist, not counting the, by Chloe Hooper. This is a nonfiction, which is talking about the 2009 Black Saturday fires lit in Latrobe Valley in Australia. And this is an exploration of the man's mental state who lit the fires. And I first heard about this book from Simon at Savage Reads. He said it's really amazing, so I really want to get to this one. Okay, for an exceeds expectations in care of magical creatures, I need to read a book under 300 pages. For this, I'm going to read Taboo by Kim Scott. We are following Tilly Coolman, who I believe is going out into the outback of Australia to explore the ways in which taboo things like death and oracles and like bone rituals are performed. It's been in all the stores recently in Australia, so I'm really keen to get to this. I picked it up at a thrift store for like $2, so that's awesome. Okay, and for outstanding for care of magical creatures, I need to read a book with a bird on the cover. So for this, I'm reading the Swan book by Alexis Wright. So this takes place in the future where the Aboriginals are still under rule of the North and they have been impacted by climate change. So I think that this book is really, really polarizing. This was one of the books read at my local library book club. So there were 1 million copies, and when they had a book sale, I picked this up for like $1. I have since read Goodreads reviews, which have said like a lot of people really didn't like this book. And if it gets to be the case where I'm really like not having a good time and I'm hitting a reading slump, then I'm gonna pick up Nevernight by Kristoff, which also has a bird on the cover. But I really think that I will love this, and Kristoff is obviously an Australian author. My only concern is that I will love it so much that it will derail my reading and I will go to the library to get the next one. Yeah, so these are my two picks. Hopefully I'll read this one, and if I can't get through it, then I will move on to Nevernight. So I need an exceeds expectations in charms. So first I have to get an acceptable, which I need to read a book with a gorgeous cover. And for this, I'm going to read The Erratics by Vicki Laveau-Harvie. This one is about Vicki Laveau's mother who has collapsed and gone into the hospital. And when she goes back to her family farm to care for her parents, she is exploring the ways in which the family dynamics have changed and stayed the same, largely a very toxic relationship. So this book, again, is winning all of the awards right now. It was shortlisted for the New South Wales Premier's Literary Awards 2019. It was the winner of the Memoir Prize in 2018, and I picked it up for $3 at my local bookstore. So winning all around, and also, of course, the cover is just so, so beautiful. So to get an exceeds expectations in charms, I have to read an illustrated novel or a novel under 150 pages. So for this, I am choosing The Arrival by Shaun Tan. I recently read 3 books by Shaun Tan when I was looking for a book to give my niece, and wow, Shaun Tan is way too dark for the age of my niece right now, who is 3. But I personally, as an adult, really like Shaun Tan, and this is a book, an illustrated novel, that is covering, I believe, moving to Australia. I don't know, I don't really like to open it because, I mean, they're just little illustrated works anyway, so I don't like to open it beforehand. But yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about this. My husband's aunt really enjoys Shaun Tan, and this is her favorite one of his, so I'm really looking forward to this one. There's like a cute little creepy I don't even know what kind of being on the front, but yep. And last is herbology. So to get an acceptable in herbology, I need to do an audiobook or green on the cover. So I don't really listen to audiobooks, but I am going to do a book with green on the cover, and that is Wimmera by Brandi. So here you go, lots of greenery here. So this is 1989, and it follows two boys who are best friends, and they're always swimming together and kind of like palling around the neighborhood together. But then someone new comes to Wimmera, and it's a man that no one knows. And the boys develop a relationship with him and befriend him, and things take a very dark turn. And I believe the novel is set between telling the story in their childhood and then one of the adults reminiscing about what happened through the lens of an adult later on in life. So I think that this one is also very dark, which I am totally not mad at. I am glad that so many books on my list are ones that I will be wanting to read a lot. I never really understood the point of reading books that you like will have to force yourself to read. I mean, I guess like some are if you're reading like academic text or like trying to learn about something, but if you're reading for just pure pleasure, then reading books that interest you, I think, is really helpful. Okay, and to get an exceeds expectations in herbology, the last book, I need to read a book between 350 and 390 pages, which is actually pretty hard. So I picked up 18 books that are from Australian authors for the month of August, just seeing if I could get through them. And this was the only one that fell within 350 and 390, and it is Eggshell Skull by Bri Lee, another book that has been everywhere in the shops here in Australia. So this is a nonfiction account of Bri Lee, who is a bright-eyed judge's associate. 2 years later, she is back as a complainant in her own case. This is her journey through the Australian legal system, first as the daughter of a policeman, then as a law student, and finally as a judge's associate. However, she realizes that the system is very rigged. So when something happens to her, she decides to go through the system using all of the knowledge that she has acquired. And again, this has been everywhere, and it has gotten really great reviews, so I cannot wait to pick this one up as well. Yeah, so that is my 11 book TBR for the Owls and the Newts for August. I'm really excited. I've never done it before, so if any of these sound interesting to you, let me know, or if you are also doing the Owls or the Newts, obviously the Newts, but if you have to catch up with the Owls, let me know down below. I'm really, really excited, and I'm also excited to read some Australian lit. So yeah, if you like this, please give me a thumbs up or hit the subscribe button. That would be amazing, and I will chat to you guys later. Bye!